My dudes, Mario Maker 2 has officially become an obsession of mine. I can't focus on anything. I can't focus on making YouTube videos for you fast enough because I'm always playing that game. But you know me, I'm a smart boy, so I decided to combine this obsession of mine with my YouTube channel and decided to make another Mario Maker 2 video. I have been creating a couple of levels myself, which you should play, by the way. My maker code is in the description and on screen right now, and I realized something. I use the new on-off switches pretty much everywhere. These new switches are so useful, it's actually insane, and today we will look at creative ways of using them. But just before we do this, let me tell you about this week's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a brand new collection RPG game available on all mobile devices. Almost 10 million players worldwide have already downloaded the game within just 3 months. It's got great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fights, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. My favorite champion is Kale right now. I like his magic spells, especially his acid rain attack. He's a pretty powerful dude. And all of the other champions are pretty cool looking. I mean, check out the details on some of them. Raid has something for everybody to enjoy. From the really good graphics to the deep storyline, you'll definitely find something you really love. I personally like the storyline and the campaign mode. The game is free to play, so get ready to fight in PvP arenas, PvE dungeons, and fight some epic bosses. I think the game is pretty good, and with almost 200,000 reviews, Raid has almost a perfect score on the Play Store, so I'm not the only one having a great time with it. There's a new update that is now live, and within it there's a new awesome loyalty program for new players. You get a new daily login reward for the first 90 days in the game. Find me under the nickname Nicobbq and let's play together. Click the special links in the video description and you will instantly get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of this new player program to start your journey. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you there. Alright, hey, I'm Nico, and here are 10 creative ways of using an on-off switch in Super Mario Maker 2. So, if you've been browsing the course world as of lately, you probably stumble on those 20-second speedrun levels. Those are generally super quick and fun to play. You basically run as fast as you can and you jump with really precise timing to hit some on-off switches to create some ground to walk on. This is one of the easiest but most effective ways of using the on-off blocks. After all, this is what they were meant for. The speedrunning part is just some bonus content, but it actually makes you feel great for completing the level. The same effect can be accomplished in the Super Mario 3 World game theme, except you are going to be using the spike blocks instead, which is as scary. The Super Mario 3 World game style has the beat blocks, which can be used to create some timing-based levels. Basically, these blocks appear and vanish within a certain amount of time to the beat of the music. This is cool and all, but you can actually change the speed of the beat, and you can even use those blocks in other game themes. But what if I told you that you don't actually need the beat blocks at all, and you can achieve the same result with our on-off switch friends? See, here's the thing, you'd think that you have to use Mario's head or butt to activate the switches, but anything that collides with the blocks can produce the same result. Now, if we use a spiny shell that keeps bouncing on the switch and put some on-off blocks here and there, we can get our brand new and improved beat blocks. If you want the beat to be slower, leave more room in between the switch and the wall, but if you want it to go super fast, make this area super narrow. My buddy Ice has actually made a pretty cool level involving those timing blocks mechanic, so you really gotta check it out. If you watch my prediction series on things I wanted for Super Mario Maker 2, you probably remember that I wanted to be able to create some traps that the players would fall into. Well, you can actually do that pretty easily now actually. The on-off blocks can now be used to contain some enemies and other hazards out of the screen. Now just place some on-off block at random places and I can guarantee that every player will automatically be tempted to hit them, and boom, surprise, you shouldn't have done that, bruh. Now, I'm not a fan of troll levels myself, but I do know some people really love them, like my buddy Mero or DGR. So you bet that you can use this tip to troll them and have some fun while doing so. If you want to make this look legit, just add some blocks here and there that would convince the player that hitting the switch is actually mandatory, while in fact it's actually not. One of my favorite types of level to create are the mini dungeon types. You know, those levels that take place in smaller rooms that do not scroll anywhere, and the on-off switches and blocks are some of my favorite ways of making great use of that smaller space. Place a couple of walls and force the player to make use of shells, bombs, icicles, and all sorts of other contraptions to hit the switch and free you. Nintendo actually had an amazing way of using the on-off switch in one of the very first level in story mode. You actually needed a star in order to clear this part of the level, and the way to get it was to go in that little dungeon room and use the on-off switch to make a path for the star to get to you. It is a very easy way to use the on-off switches, but it is so effective. You don't have to restrict yourself to smaller rooms or mini dungeons to use that brand new mechanic. In fact, you can apply this to a whole entire level. I made this one called Save Mr. Bum, and in it you have to slowly escort a bum to the end of the level in order to blow up the wall and complete the level. I made a couple of challenges along the way, but one of the simplest one was to simply create pits that would kill the bum. To clear the stage, you have to hit the on-off switch with precise timing to prevent the bum from falling to its doom. This can be used with pretty much anything really. You could need a Koopa to break some blocks, so you'd have to escort him, or you could have an entire level where you'd have to save a mushroom power-up to be able to break some blocks with your head as Big Mario. The possibilities are endless. Just remember that you can use the on-off switches on way more things than just Mario. Earlier in the video, I made sure to mention that Mario wasn't the only guy that was able to hit the on-off switches. In fact, there was one enemy that can hit them without the help of Mario at all, and I named the Thwomp. Basically, the way that Thwomps work is that they try to crush you if you are within a certain range of them. They will even attack you if there's a platform in between Mario and themselves. Now, this gave me the idea of actually putting some on-off switches underneath the Thwomp. Now this means that the blocks will activate automatically as soon as Mario walks under a Thwomp. I made 2 levels using that mechanic. There's one where the Thwomps are hidden up above the level. So now every time that you jump, a Thwomp will hit the switch and activate the on-off things, even if there was no switch for Mario to see and hit. I made another level which is the complete opposite, where you absolutely want to remain under that line over there. If you jump too high and end up above it, the Thwomps will get threatened and your floor will go bye-bye. I know my 2 levels were kind of janky and that I could have put more work into them, but I believe that now that I gave you guys the basic idea, somebody will come up with the perfect way of executing it. One of the things Mario does best is fight with many enemies, especially by jumping on their head. But what if he couldn't? What if the enemy was out of reach? Is it possible to kill an enemy without touching it? And without touching a coin? Well, yes, actually using the on-off switch. Here's the thing, when an enemy is inside the part where the blocks appear and then you activate the switch, they get squished and they die. This is actually a fun idea for a boss rush type of game. Can you imagine beating all of the bosses without actually touching them? Now, this is an original way of using the blocks. Who would have thought that these blocks and switches were lethal weapons? Speaking of lethal things, have you seen this level called Lethal Ejection? It's this crazy difficult level where you must use on-off switches to bounce on Goombas, and you accomplish this by placing a block right under a switch. Activating that switch gives Mario an opportunity to do some sort of mid-air double jump. Now this level might be a little bit too difficult, but this double jump mechanic can actually be used in less lethal level. Imagine having to go up this cliff by using the on-off double jump mechanic. This could be pretty interesting, and another thing that can only be accomplished by using those blocks. The on-off switch is the perfect thing to use to create some funny evil levels. For example, let's say you want the player to finish your level with one single coin. You can just put this coin inside a little cage at the very beginning of the stage and then make him do all sorts of crazy shenanigans to get the only on-off switch in your level located at the very end. Then that way he'll have to go back to the very beginning just to collect that single coin and then go back through the level a third time to get to the end. You can even make it so that a mushroom is needed to finish the course, and the first time it's very easy as small Mario, but now that you have the mushroom and you're tall, you have to slide under blocks and dodge more enemies and do all sorts of things as tall Mario. Evil, but genius. You might not be thinking about this when building your levels, but the on-off switch is the perfect thing to make multiplayer level very chaotic. Think about it, some floors made out of on-off blocks, 4 players, and a couple of on-off switches here and there. There is bound to be some trolling going on, with some players just trying to mess up other players' progress in online versus instead of actually trying to beat the level. I had one level where I managed to get one player stuck in a cage made out of on-off blocks, and nobody was actually playing the level anymore. We were just teabagging the poor toad that was stuck inside of the cage. It was a good time. Well, for us at least. Don't be afraid to make funny levels, even if they're not very serious. The point here is to have a good time. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. Make sure to hit the like button if you want to see more of this series, and turn on the notifications, will you? Subscribe and you'll be all done. Tap the cards on the screen right now to see more Super Mario Maker videos, and expect plenty more to come, as I am far from done with this game. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.